Good morning, Claremont Center for Spiritual Living. How are you this morning? So good to see all of you in person, and so good to see those that are joining us via Facebook live stream. So happy to have everyone here. I'm Reverend Tracy, and all I can say is I'm so happy to be here. Thank you. Yes. So a couple reminders before we get started. Yes, I know the CDC has changed their protocols. However, LA County has not yet. So we will do the cautious thing and follow the old rules, which means while you're indoors, please keep your masks up. You may hum along. However, singing is not happening. And as you can see, we don't have a singer today, but I do want to welcome back the amazing, the wonderful, the technical savant, the one who put everything up for us all year long, invisibly working behind the scenes. Welcome back, Jeff Harrison. And know that our hearts are with you. You know, we know that you lost your mother recently, and we send you nothing but love and joy and spirit and whatever else you need. It's all yours. So today we start by reminding ourselves that we are here to remember the truth. And the truth is more than what we do every day, what we call ourselves, what job we do, where we think we need to be on a certain time and a certain day. The truth of us is this energy of creative life looking for new ways to express. And we come here to support each other in that, to remind each other that we are greater than anything that may appear on the outside, for within us is that divine knowing, that divine power, that love. So thank you for being here today in love. Know that you are welcome wherever you are on your spiritual path. And let us begin by becoming centered. So I'm going to invite you, wherever you are, to take a deep breath and close your eyes. It's okay, I'll find it. And we'll make do. Taking that deep breath and listening to the sound of the bowl. And letting that light tone take you into that heart space, that place of light and love and peace. Bringing you to the knowledge that we are all one.
We are indeed all one, and let's come together now in a moment of solitude, knowing that we each have our individual presence with the one mind that is here now. I know and affirm my truth that this beautiful, beautiful spring day is only beginning to shine. It's coming on slowly today, just as we do sometimes when we come on, getting out of bed and greeting the new day. We have been away for a long time, but we are here now, and we are back with the presence and the power of the one Spirit that is here. So I speak my word now for a wonderful, wonderful day for each of us, a wonderful meeting this morning, and wonderful ideas for us to take away with us as we hear the following sermon. And let's stay with that thought in our mind now as I have a reading. You belong to the universe in which you live. You are one with the creative genius back of this vast array of ceaseless motion. This original flow of life. You are as much a part of it as the sun, the earth, and the air. There is something in you telling you this right now. It's like a voice echoing from some mountaintop of inward vision, like a light whose origin no man has seen. Like an impulse welling up from an invisible source. Your soul belongs to the universe. Your mind is an outlet through which the creative intelligence of the universe seeks fulfillment. This is your starting point for investigating the meaning of those impulses, longings, and desires which accompany you through life. You may accept that the source through which they come is real. You may accept that the universe is filled with a divine and infinite presence, perhaps the infinite of yourself, not the infinite of your limited self, but the infinite of the divine self that you know yourself to be. There must be a pattern of yourself in this invisible. The greatest minds of the ages have accepted that such a pattern exists. Socrates called it his spirit. Jesus, his Father in heaven. Some ancient mystics called it Atman, A-T-M-A-N, Atman. Why don't you call it just you? Your complete self? For surely this is what they all have meant. Just try to catch the larger vision and realize that there have been and are people, many of them, who have wooed and wed in some invisible presence until its atmosphere and essence have become woven into a fabric of their own existence. Every man is a doorway, as Emerson said, through which the infinite passes into the finite, through which God becomes man, through which the universal becomes the invisible and the individual. You are to believe with utmost simplicity and with complete faith that there is a pattern of your being, or a real spirit of you, which is eternal as God, as indestructible as reality, and as changeless as truth. This pattern is seeking to manifest through you. Back of it all is the will and purpose of the universe. All the irresistible laws of being. Finally, it will win, and it will win in you. It is because it is there for you that these irresistible urges, you know you have them, these irresistible urges, the longing to live more fully, the feeling that life belongs to you. There is something within you, beyond all doubt and fear, something which has never been limited by your acts or destroyed by any of your feelings. This is the only something that can make you whole. And you are made whole today on this spring day. I'm called Brad Weathern. This is Ernest Holmes. Thank you.
So let me light our candle for celebration. To celebrate is our theme this month, I think for obvious reasons. And I have to tell you that I know this stuff, I believe this stuff, I teach it all the time, but I am still amazed at how there is only one mind. When you hear the talk today, you'll see what I'm talking about. I think Brad snuck in and looked at my notes and picked a reading that used all the phrases that I'm going to say to you this morning. So I love it when it works like that. It's just perfect. So the title today is Smell the Roses. So I was thinking about my last little getaway Sometimes we just need to get out of the everyday and take a little break. And so Pat and I went to the desert. Now, sometimes we go to the mountains, sometimes we go to the desert. We usually Airbnb it, which means we're in somebody else's little cabin or little house or closet or whatever they have for us to rent. And I go for the change of scenery, and I go because I promised myself one of the great joys of getting away for the weekend where there's that kind of nature around is to get up early in the morning and make that fresh cup of coffee and put a jacket on over my pajamas because somehow that feels just so decadent, and go sit on the front porch and watch the sun come up and listen to the birds and wait for the quail or the lizards or the squirrels to show up and wake up with the day. It's a way of relaxing and releasing all of the busyness and being renewed by nature and really feeling a part of life in a way that sometimes gets covered over in the city. Now, there's this point in the early morning, it's the point before I get up, where a little tiny, a great big tug of war takes place in my brain. It's cold out there and it's so warm in the bed. And do I really want to get up? And we're going to be here for 2 nights. So I could get up tomorrow morning and go sit on the porch. But I really want to get up. But I really want to see nature. I mean, this is why I come out. Or I want to see the stars in the desert before the sun comes up. I really want to get up. Yeah, but I don't know this house. I mean, my house has a hallway and a kitchen and a coffee maker and a front door. So it's vaguely familiar, but it's only like half lit up. It's dark in the desert and I can barely see where I'm going. And all right, I'll just get up. So this conversation happens every single time. And most of the time I do get up and I feel my way down the hallway into the kitchen and I figure out the coffee maker and I get that cup of coffee and I put on my jacket and I go out onto the front porch, and it's so worth it. So worth it. And how easy is it to forget that what it is we really want to do, the change we invite into our lives, that little bit of effort it takes to take that extra step to leave your nest is so worth it. And it made me think of this process of shifting and change that we are in once again in this almost post-pandemic lifestyle we're in, right? It's like we're done, but we're not quite done, and we're almost there, but we're kind of sort of there, and things are opening up, and isn't it glorious? And oh my God, there's so many decisions to make and choices to make and things to figure out again. How hard it is to leave the nest that I've built that lets me do things the way I figured out a year ago. And although this is so fabulous to be together, before I get here in my week, it's, what do I do? How do I do it? What am I going to do? I got to figure all this stuff out. And, overall, I'm just tired. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm going to be here for 3 days before church. I'll do it all tomorrow. Right? What's with that? What is it with us human beings that forget that first step will simply carry us forward? That intention and direction will take us where we want to go, because I really want to be in this culture that is finally reopening and making things available to us that haven't been available before for this last year. So when I wrote the summary for this talk, Smell the Roses, one of the lines is that we're feeling our way back to the Garden of Life. And I love that because it is all about the feelings, right? It's excited and tired. It's ready and unsure. It's all of those things at once. Now, I don't know I do know what it takes because that's what I'm talking about, but what it takes to get me out from under the covers, right? Because all I want to do is pull the covers over my head some days. I'm not the only one, right? I'm not up here just talking about myself, right? Okay, just checking. All right, so used to be my folks would come in and just yank the covers off the bed and then I had to get up, right? Well, there's a kinder way to do that for yourself. That's what we're going to talk about today. First is to just remember that the nature of life, the nature of human life, is to change constantly. And if you weren't sure about that before, you know that now after last year. Things change. The key is to remember that I am more than my human life. That the part within me that is spiritual, that divine connection, the part that is the self with a capital S, is greater than the circumstances I find myself. I am more than she who navigates the world, and so are you. I'm also that divine nature, that self beyond the world. And the spiritual idea of change isn't the human constant shifting, I'm going to lose something, oh my God, what do I do? The spiritual idea of change is always progressive. It's always about evolution. It's always about becoming. It's always about the awareness of consciousness expanding. That part of who I am is what I can bring to my human experience and change that very experience of life. Ernest Holmes, founder of Science of Mind philosophy, gives us some advice on how to tap into, how to get grounded in that spiritual knowing, that I amness that we are. He says, we can develop the practice of communing daily with the spirit that resides within us. And such a communication can be based on a deep inward sense of belonging to life, of being a part of it, of trusting it and having confidence in it, and of knowing that as we do so, the future is certain in such degree as we make the present a time of joy, of happiness, of peace, and of goodwill towards others. That daily spiritual practice grounds us in the inward sense of knowing that we can trust life, and by extension, trust ourselves in that life. You see, I want to transform those bits of doubt or anxiety or exhaustion or grief or overwhelm or sadness. I want to transform that energy into moving forward with some enthusiasm, with that energy of what's exciting, because it is exciting. But I can be held back by what I try to hold on to, right? If I am holding on to the comfortable place I've created for myself recently, I'm going to miss out. If I'm not willing to take a step, if I'm not willing to open up myself, I'm not open to the greater good that can come to me. Because the truth is my life is pretty good. Your life is pretty good, right? But if we even hold on to the good, Emerson says if we hold on to the good, we're denying ourselves the greater. When we talk about being in faith and trusting life, we're talking about allowing the flow of life to happen, which means things come, things go, and then more things come. So we don't want to hold on to something that's going to hold us back, even if it's good. We are always evolving and raising up into the better. I think when we let go, though, the idea of letting go of what's working now, like what's working now, let's just do it that way. The way we've always done it, or at least the way we've always done it in 2020. We do that. We want to let go of the stuff that's holding us back. We need to do so graciously, with grace. Grace is the flow of life. Grace is letting those things come and go. Grace is letting go with an expectation of good rather than a fear or a worry of loss. Because isn't that why we hold on? We're afraid we're going to lose something. We're going to lose ourselves. We're going to lose something that's valuable to us. But remember, what is it we are bringing to the equation? What we bring to life is the infinite I am that is within. We cannot lose ourselves. We cannot. Now, since Dad isn't around to yank the covers off, I need a jump start some days, because the truth is, if I'm in the midst of grieving or struggle or confusion or overwhelm, it's really hard to see how to get back to spiritual truth other than falling asleep. I can do that really well. It doesn't always work, though. Sometimes I wake up, I'm still confused, right? But if I really want to shift my inner energy, the best way to do that is through gratitude. And that quote is not here, so I will paraphrase it. So in Simple Abundance, Sarah von Bretnock says that gratitude is the strongest, most transformational power in the cosmos. And that when we offer up gratitude to another person, to life itself, what we do is we unleash, we open the doors to that joy, that peace, that happiness, that sense of good that we are, that enoughness that we are. We open up to that, which creates room for more. Gratitude grows good. And why? Because gratitude puts us in this moment. When I smell those flowers, I'm in this moment. Because where's the struggle? The struggle is between the past and the future, right? The struggle is what's behind us and what we don't know is ahead of us, and how do we get from here to there? But if I stop and be in the present, if I look for and find the light and the good and the smile and the connection and appreciate it, now I'm in my power, because my power is only in now. Now, what do I think about my life? Right now, what is my heart calling me to do? Right now, these are the circumstances. How am I moving forward? Right now. That's where our power is. It's in gratitude. Now, Ernest Holmes does have something to say about that as well. I don't know if you noticed this about Ernest, but he has something to say about a lot of things. I have trimmed some of his words out so that we can finish our talk sometime today. But I do want to share with you what he wrote. He said, the past is behind, and whatever doubt it may have held is gone with it. The future is before, bright with prospects, the eternal sun of righteousness, always ascending. Let's live in the present, neither looking backward in horror, nor forward with apprehension, but looking into the present with joy, abiding in faith. The faith to which we are referring is not a faith in an isolated self which struggles through life alone, but faith in an inner knowledge. Spiritual self-reliance comes to those who have a deep awareness of the availability of the creative spirit through the medium of their spiritual self and their oneness with the presence of God. And what is God, he writes? A steady persistence back of all things, an urge to live, to sing, to dance, to express life, to create. This is the life we belong to. This is the connection that we seek. This is the greater truth of who we are. This is what allows us to know our spiritual self, to be grounded in spiritual truth, trusting life, even in the half light, even in the semi-dark hallway, Even working your way towards that coffee machine, trust me, I can trust myself. I can figure out any coffee machine, any, light or no light. And the truth is you can too, whatever your coffee machine is. You see, we are an expression of life. We're not just in it. It's not just coming at us. It's not doing things to us. We are this infinite persistence behind all things that wants to sing and dance and create in whatever form you choose. And you can trust yourself. And when you lose your way, when you lose your balance, when you lose your perspective, then go once again to the present moment and smell the flowers, or hear the birds, or sip your tea, or listen to the kids playing. The present moment where you are grounded in spirit, where the garden of life is right there before you and the beauty is plain to see. Because gratitude is what allows us to see rightly, to see with appreciation, to see the spirit in all things, and to be nurtured and refreshed and reconnected from that. So the next time you wake up to a new day or a new experience or a new possibility or some new and strange event you didn't even know was going to happen, stop and smell the roses. Look around you, feel the air. Look into the eyes of a loved one. Be with yourself with a capital S. Let the I am within you speak to your heart. For it is the very voice of love and peace and knowledge within. Make your way to the garden of life, using your eyes of appreciation, your willingness to have a grateful heart, your openness to seeing the good wherever you are, and let that grow in and as you. Let the beauty and the bounty of life fill you up. Let go of the thorns on those rose bushes. Let go of what has happened that has hurt you, in the sense that you let go of the pain and keep the lesson, keep the good. Holmes says that it's you. He says, it's not that every moment of our lives will be happy or filled with complete happiness and everything our hearts desire is right here in front of us. But we can learn to take from each moment only the joy, only the lesson, the good that is in it. If we only take the bad, is it not out of this bad that the next moment will be born? Life is often filled with undesirable situations and conditions, and it can become a bed of roses only when we are willing to pick the thorns out of our flesh and throw them away. So go ahead. Get up early. Come out from under the covers. Take a walk in the garden. Refresh yourselves. And know that the joy that you receive from recognizing the part of life that you are is the very joy that you bring to life. And we are all blessed by you. Thank you. Namaste. Let's take a moment in prayer, shall we? Closing our eyes and taking that deep breath, moving into that heart space within. For there is a place within your own being, centered around the heart, which is where you know love, where you know peace, a sanctuary of spirit that is your true nature. And simply breathing into that sanctuary, recognize that this life that we are living is the very life and essence of all that we are and all that we are surrounded by. That this life of peace and beauty and wisdom is within us, simply awaiting our opening, our awakening to it. And so I speak my word for an awakening, a willingness to open our eyes to all that is good, even here, even now, to find and be grateful for that which is already ours, for the spiritual truth that we are aware of, for the love that we share, for the exciting discoveries of the new, for the comforting that we receive from our friends, our family, from nature, allowing grace to live in and as us, allowing this flow of life to be the receiving and giving and receiving and receiving again that it is meant to be. For what I know is that in spite of all change, all the time, the eternal, infinite possibility remains steady. The love that life is, that God is, that the spiritual nature of everyone is the truth. And in love, as love, all good things grow. And so I bless this expansion of consciousness, this willingness to bring my whole self to the table of life. I give great thanks for the ability to see the beauty and the bounty of the garden. That every plant, every flower, every tree, every animal resting in the sun is simply an expression of life at its best. I'm grateful for the growth that happens in life, in me, as me. And I appreciate it in everyone I meet. And I know that whatever circumstances are here now, love is, peace is, wholeness is the truth. And so I simply let this prayer go into the law of mind, for it is already done. These things are already here. Our good is here and now and available. And I see it, and I welcome it, and I receive it, and I let it unfold as you, as me, as this world, trusting the higher consciousness that is ever being born. I call it good, for it is all God, and so it is. Join me, if you will, in an affirmation. I invite you to repeat after me. Life is always now. Now is consciousness. And consciousness is who you are. Well, that's the quote. Now let's do the affirmation, shall we? A little rusty. As I breathe with awareness, I anchor myself in gratitude. I celebrate life. And so it is. There we go. Now we're talking. Thank you for playing along. All right, a few invitations for all of you. We have a new class coming up beginning June 3rd. Last week I announced that it would start the last week of May. However, I had to move that out. So June 3rd, it's a Thursday. It's an 8-week class, and you have a choice of 2 sessions in the morning at 8:30 or in the evening at 6 p.m. It's a 2-hour class per night for 8 weeks. It's called Treat Yourself to Life, and it's based on a book by Raymond Charles Barker of the same name. It's all about spiritual mind treatment and using that spiritual tool in your own life to create the changes that you want. We will be doing it via Zoom. We'll be doing it online to start. We'll see how things unfold, if we can do a hybrid class in person. And I know I have some folks that'll be joining us online from far away. We have a couple students that join us from Holland. So it's always good to welcome new faces into our circle. That makes for great discussions. So if you're interested in taking a class, I'll just remind you that life is better when you're in class. Yes, you remember, right? Okay, so think about this one. Again, starting in June 3rd, there is a sign-up sheet out front. I'm going to ask, where's my friend Mickey? Is she here in the room? There she is. Mickey, will you just make sure that sign-up sheet, maybe you can write people's names and numbers down for me rather than passing the pen. We're still not passing the pen, okay? We're also not passing the basket for your contributions, although I want to thank you for your contributions. What we have are baskets on your way out. So if you will, just say a little word of blessing as you drop it in when you're leaving. Those contributions are here to keep our community rolling. And how nice is it to have a building to come back to? That's all thanks to you. You kept us going this whole long year. So we welcome and appreciate all that you contribute, and know that your donation is blessed. If you've memorized the affirmation for giving, you may say it with me. Let's just do that. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am prosperous now. And that is the truth of our community as well. Wednesday nights, we still have our Gateway service, Wednesday nights at 7 via Zoom. It's always a great presentation and discussion, so do tune in for that. The link is on our website and also in the e-blast. And we precede the 7 p.m. Service with a 6:15 meditation, which is via phone, via like a conference call. So if you want to just get on the phone and have a little meditative moment, Nisa Burrows does that for us every week. So I invite you to join us for that as well. I want to specifically acknowledge the folks that have been helping outside. How many of you noticed, let's hope everybody raises their hand, when you pulled in the driveway, that the sidewalk space there in front of the sign on the one side has been replanted and made beautiful and weeded, and there's flowers, and yes, we're waving our hands. Yes, it's gorgeous. So I just want a big round of applause for everyone who helped get that out there. And if you were one of the helpers, give yourself a round of applause, because it's gorgeous, just gorgeous. We also have a new flag out front at the entrance. Did you see it? CCSL, alive and well. Woo! That's us. All right, so good things happening. If you'd like to be a part of some of these things that we are continuing to open up and present, we could use a few volunteers. Do you have a Sunday a week you'd be willing to contribute? Maybe being in the bookstore to help out with that, or being at the greeters table, or making sure everybody has a place to sit inside that's safe and 6 feet apart, which you all did very well on your own today, by the way. Just give yourselves a little round of applause for managing your space. Anyway, we have volunteer opportunities, so I invite you to talk to me, talk to one of your board members. Board members, raise your hands. There's Tammy, Chris, Jerry, Diane, Shelley, Jan, Sean back there. Let us know. Would you like to help with accounting every week? We have a prosperity consciousness opening for someone who would like to be on the count team. All kinds of ways that you can be a part of our long-term reopening, because of course we are doing this one step at a time. All right. Practitioners. We have practitioners in the room. Practitioners, why don't you stand up for a minute? If you're a practitioner, stand up. Brad, Nisa, Diane, we have a couple more that aren't here today. These are the folks that can hold consciousness for you, to know the truth for you in support of or celebration, whatever's going on in your life. Please, please talk to them. Ask them to pray with you. Let them know the truth in whatever way would be supportive to you. And thank you all for having done that invisibly all year long while we were gone. Thank you so much, all of you. I think that is all I have for today. Does anyone else have it? Am I missing anything? I think we're good.